Travel through the world of time in ancient Rome, where grand bathrooms were not only centers of hygiene, they were for the lively life of the Roman society. From the emperors to the common people, all the levels of the society gathered to relax, socialize, and innocent to enjoy the pleasures in these grand, appointed halls. But his architectural attraction and public ethos is a hidden world, a sexuality, political backroom politics, and intellectual debate. What did the Roman go inside the steam of bathing, in fact? Was they halls of culture and health, or were they a playground of collapse and abuse? Join us because we find out the interesting and complex reality of these ancient sanctuaries. Roman baths were a focal element of Roman society and culture that was not just a location for cleanliness, but also for recreation, socializing, and even athletic exercise. Yet beneath the exterior of these innocent-sounding pursuits is a hidden realm of lechery and sensuality that will shock many contemporary tourists. One of the most fascinating things about Roman bathing practices was that they could escalate into outright orgies. Although the concept of an orgy would be scandalous and voyeuristic to us, to Romans today, however, it was a direct consequence of their views and attitudes towards sexuality, and nudity was not intrinsically shameful or forbidden in Roman culture. As is often the case in many cultures today, it was normal for Romans to bathe together naked, and this absence of modesty carried over into other areas of their lives as well. With this permissive view of nudity and sex, Roman views on sex also became more relaxed, with affairs outside of marriage and homosexual sex becoming accepted and even glories in some circles. Maybe it is not surprising that the environment of Roman baths sometimes had a very sexual tone. In fact, some historians are convinced that orgies were a common occurrence in Roman baths. One of the key factors that made it possible for orgies to happen in Roman bathhouses was the availability of heated rooms and pools, particularly during some festivals or special events. These hot, snug spacks are the ideal place to relax and get intimate, and it's not difficult to see how things can rapidly get out of hand from harmless socializing to more ardent pursuits. Also, Roman baths frequently involved men and women together, creating a commingling of the sexes, and thus potentially further ignite the flames of desire within a society where sexual categories were less clearly established and less strictly demarcated than they are in contemporary society. It is not hard to see how the shared environment of the bathhouses might evoke a sense of release and something that could indeed give rise to more uninhibited conduct. Not every trip to the Roman baths led to an orgy for most Romans. The baths were just an opportunity to visit with friends and take advantage of the pleasures of hot water and steam. And yet at any given moment, there could be a slippage, and things went in a different direction, meaning that the mere potential was built into the occasion. Roman baths were a product of the advanced and multifaceted nature of Roman society, as was Roman engineering, just as capable of achieving great acts of art and culture. But they were also capable of giving into their base instincts and urges. The baths gave them room to exist, wherein these two poles of Roman life could exist in tandem and presented a window onto a world sophisticated and erotically sophisticated and at the same time raucous. Nowadays, the remains of Roman baths are a monument to the brilliance and sophistication of ancient Roman civilization, but also to the less respectable aspects of Roman life, a side that was not shy to partake in debauchery and decadence. Even though we will never truly know how often orgies occurred in Roman baths, even if fornication likely occurred in the Roman baths, the salacious potential of such activities layers an additional plane of mystery and intrigue over these ancient and legendary ruins. They must be remembered also as places of healing and leisure. The Roman belief in the therapeutic value of bathing, and most bathhouses featuring a range of amenities, including the steam room sass and the cold baths, which were said to ensure good health and good living, whereas some patrons must have used the baths for rather more nefarious reasons for most Romans. They were a center of sociality and a location of physical revitalization, as well as a resting place and where one could tend to their body. Roman baths also served the political and cultural life of the city. It was not out of the ordinary for significant debate and negotiation to occur in the baths, since they were perceived as neutral and intimate spaces where individuals of various social classes could interact. Bathhouses were occasionally employed for public assemblies, demonstrations, and even political campaigns. Illustrating their significance to Roman society at large, Roman baths were a multifaceted and complex institution that captured the diversity and contradictions of Roman life. While they might have been a site of sensual excess and indulgence for some, They were also representative of the cultural sophistication and richness of Roman civilization. By uncovering the closed world of the Roman baths, we can learn more about the intricacies of life in ancient Rome and how people coexisted and communicated with one another in this rich and dynamic civilization. In spite of the debauchery potential in Roman baths, one must keep in mind that they were also a source of healing and relaxation. The Romans of old were firm believers in the healing power of bathing, and most bathhouses were well stocked with all manner of amenities, including steam rooms and cold pools, which were believed to ensure good health and well-being. Though the baths were certainly used by some of their visitors for more immoral purposes, for most Romans they were a resort to unwind and attend to the care of their bodies as much as they were a social hub and a spot of physical revitalization. Roman baths were also politically and culturally significant in the city. It was not a norm for serious discussions and conversations to occur within the baths because they were considered neutral and personal spaces where individuals of various social classes could congregate. The baths were also occasionally employed for public meetings, demonstrations, and even political rallies, emphasizing their role in Roman society as a whole. Roman baths were an intricate and complex institution that revealed the diversity and contradictions of Roman life. Even though they could have been an arena of sensual indulgence and excess for others, they also represented the cultural sophistication of Roman society by unearthing the world beneath the Roman baths. We can better understand the nuances of ancient Roman society and in the way individuals existed and interacted with each other in this attractive and metropolitan culture. Roman baths were not only for physical cleaning and holiday, but also social, where hierarchy was blurred and egalitarian values were practiced in the bath, where individuals of all ranks of society interactions, exchange of communal activities and experiences could collect for regardless of their social status or perfection. This feeling of solidarity and belonging was a unique aspect of the Roman bathing life, and it generated a common meaning of comradeship and camaraderie that was promoted. Combined with Roman baths, the premises were often decorated with beautiful mosaic works of art and other forms of sculpture that matched the setting and beauty of the bathing experience. These art elements not only add to the visual splendor of the baths, but serve as an extension of Roman values and culture as well, varying from the representation of mythological scenes to lavish designs drawn from nature. The artwork of Roman baths provides a window into the art and creative potential of the ancient Romans, which is an additional aspect of sensory perception of visiting the baths. Lastly, Roman baths were not merely places of physical excess and sensuality, but also places that reflected the complexity and multifaceted nature of Roman society, from their therapeutic qualities to their role as social and political centers. Baths were a central part of Roman life and culture, and by looking into the unknown world of Roman baths, we can learn a treasure chest of facts regarding the ancient Romans' values, beliefs, and practices. Highlighting the dense cultural texture of life that made up the Roman Empire, a further important function of the Roman baths was as a vehicle for promoting social unity and cohesion within society. By providing a space where people from every walk of life could come together and interact on an equal basis, the baths promoted a feeling of shared identity and belonging amongst Roman citizens in a society which was predisposed to be structured along class and status lines. The baths were a potent symbol of togetherness and solidarity, reminding people of their commonality and shared values, as well as their humanity. In addition to this, further Roman baths were not merely places of bodily purification, but also centers of intellectual and cultural exchange. Philosophers, poets, and other educated people were not uncommon to bathe regularly and hold hotly contested debates and discussions on topics of all sorts. The bathhouse was also a meeting place for seekers of knowledge and enlightenment, with a platform where ideas were shared and intellectual development followed. Baths were not only places of entertainment and recreation, but also centers of intellectual endeavors and cultural enrichment. Later Roman baths were a manifestation of the ingenuity and architectural skill of the ancient Romans. The sophisticated heating devices, the luxurious mosaics and delicate work that decorate the baths testify to the technical sophistication and skills of Roman engineers and craftsmen. Bath, besides being functional buildings, were artworks which demonstrated the invention and artistry of the Roman society. Today, the ruins of the Roman bath stand as a will for advanced building techniques and artistic skills of ancient Romans, and give a glimpse of the rich cultural heritage of this attractive civilization. The Roman baths were much higher than just in the body to bathe. They were socialization, relaxation, and even the hotbed of intrigue. A mirror for the Roman society, they were a combination of luxury, culture, and sometimes condemnable additions. While centuries have transpired, their ruins continue to whisper tales of a civilization that influenced history in ways too numerous to count. If you enjoyed this in-depth look at the secret life of Roman baths, be sure to like this video, share with your friends, and subscribe to the channel for more interesting stories about history's biggest mysteries. Press the bell icon so you never miss our any video. Goodbye!